So we have three layers of adrenal cortex, which is zona reticularis, zona fasciculata, and the another one is zona glomerulus. The innermost layer is zona reticularis, outermost layer is zona glomerulosa, and middlemost layer is zona reticularis. So how it looks? The outermost we have is zona glomerulus. The middle one we have is zona fasciculata. The innermost we have is zona reticularis. Okay, and next, it secretes many hormones. It secretes many hormones which we commonly call as corticoids. Corticoids are involved in the carbohydrate metabolism, and when it is involved in the carbohydrate metabolism, then it will be going to call as glucocorticoids. Corticoids, we have the common name for these hormones, but if it is involved in the carbohydrate metabolism's function, then it will be going to call as glucocorticoids in our body. Cortisol, it is the most main glucocorticoid which we have in our body. Cortisol, it is the most common main glucocorticoid which we have in our body. Okay, and corticoids also helps in regulating in the balance of water and electrolytes in our body, and hence they are called as mineral corticoids. What are they called as? They are called as mineral corticoids because they are also helping to maintain the regulate the balance of water and electrolytes in our body. And aldosterone is the main mineral corticoid in our body. We have glucocorticoid. Main glucocorticoid is cortisol, and the main mineral corticoid we have is aldosterone. Okay, next, glucocorticoids stimulate gluconeogenesis. It also stimulates gluconeogenesis. It refers to the formation of glucose. Okay, it also stimulates gluconeogenesis, polypsis, and proteolysis. Okay, it will stimulate these function, and it also inhibit. It also stops, or we can say doesn't allow the cellular uptake and utilization of amino acid. Cortisol is involved in the maintaining the cardiovascular system as well as the kidney functions. Glucocorticoids are particularly we have cortisol. Cortisol produces some anti-inflammatory reaction. It produces some anti-inflammatory reaction, and it also suppresses the immune response. Cortisol tubules stimulates the resorption of Na, means sodium, iron, and water, and excretion of potassium and phosphate ions. Thus, aldosterone also helps in the maintenance of electrolytes. Okay, it will also help in the maintenance of electrolytes, body fluid volume, osmotic pressure, blood pressure, and small amount of androgenic steroid also gets secreted by retinal cortex, which also plays important role in the growth of our axial hair, pubic hair, facial hair during puberty. Next, we have pancreas. Pancreas is a composite gland. Why we called it as a composite gland? Because it acts both. It acts like both. It acts like exocrine gland and endocrine gland also. Okay, that's the reason why we call it as it is composite gland. Okay, so we have the composite gland, which is pancreas, because it acts both exocrine and endocrine gland. And the endocrine pancreas consists of islets of Langerhans. Islets of Langerhans. Okay, it consists of islets of Langerhans, and there are about 1 to 2 million islets of Langerhans in the normal human pancreas, which will result in the 1 to 2% of the pancreatic tissue. We have two main kind of cells in the islet of Langerhans, which we call as alpha cell and beta cell. Alpha cell secretes a hormone which we call as glucagon, and the beta cell secretes a hormone which we call as insulin. Glucagon is a peptide hormone and plays an important role in maintaining the normal blood glucose level, in maintaining the glucose level of the body, normal glucose level in the body. Glucagon also acts mainly on the hepatocytes. Hepatocytes are nothing but our liver cells, and it also stimulates glycogen glycogenolysis. What is glycogenolysis? It is the breakdown of glycogen. Breakdown of glycogen. Okay. So it also stimulates that, which will lead to hyperglycemia. Hyperglycemia means when the sugar level, or we can say the glucose level, will get increases in our body. So hyperglycemia will result, and in addition to this hormone, it also stimulates the process of glycogenesis, also contributes to glycemia. Glycogen reduces the cellular glucose uptake, therefore we call it as hyperglycemic hormone, because it is increasing the blood glucose level, sugar level. Okay, so insulin is another peptide hormone which plays important role. It is kind of a just opposite of what glycogen. Okay, it will it will do when there is an increased level of glucose, we can sugar level is increased in our body due to like in the case of hyperglycemia. In case of hyperglycemia, what it will do, it will decrease the body glucose level, and it will also by doing the conversion of glucose to glycogen. In the previous case, like in the case of hypoglyce hyper in the case of hypoglycemia, when there was less like there was no much level of sugar in our blood, then what will happen, the glycogen was get converting into glucose, right, and was leading to the hyperglycemia condition. But here what is happening, it is already in hyperglycemia condition, then there will be insulin which will which will decrease the blood sugar level, and this is called as hypoglycemia, and the insulin do it by converting the glucose to glycogen, which we call as glycogenesis in the target cell. And yes, so they jointly maintain our body blood level, sugar level, sorry. And next we have the disorder which we call as prolonged hyperglycemia. If the hyperglycemia is prolonged, then it will lead to a complex disorder which we call as diabetes mellitus, and it is associated with the loss of glucose through urine and the formation of harmful compounds like the ketone bodies will get formed. If there is loss of glucose through our urine, it will lead to the diabetes mellitus, and in this the harmful compounds will get formed, like the ketones body will get formed, and diabetic patients are successfully treated by the insulin therapy. Next we have testes. These are gonads. It is present in the scrotal sac, which is outside the abdomen, and it performs the dual function. Okay, or it is the primary sex organ and also the endocrine gland. It composed of seminiferous tubules, and can say the interstitial tubules, which is present in middle, or we can say inside, and we have the Leydig cell or interstitial cells, which are present in the intertubular spaces, which are produce a group of hormones which we call as androgens, and mainly we call this as testosterone. And Androgens regulate development, maturation, and these all functions. And we have some accessory organs even, like in males, like epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, and etc. etc. Prostate gland, prostate gland, and urethra. And these hormones stimulate the muscular growth, growth of facial, axillary hair, aggressiveness, and etc. So these are these because you have learned it from 10th class also. Next we have ovary. It also we have the pair of ovaries located in the abdomen, and it also acts like both. It is primary female organ and which produces one over each ear, and that we call as